Hello everyone and welcome to Bachman's Facebook Live. Today is Wednesday and we're so happy that you're able to join us. My name is Karen Bachman Tool and today I'll be talking about garden solutions. It's an absolutely beautiful day weather-wise. The weather is very conducive to be outdoors and it looks like we're going to have favorable weather this weekend as well. So get out there, dig in, and try something new. And today you might learn something new that you can identify either pests, insect damage, or some new techniques that you can try for your own gardens at home. So summer weather can create prime conditions for visits from unwanted insects, critters, and garden diseases. So now that we're into summer season, we can certainly see some of those effects in our own yard. So today we're going to discuss how to identify and then create a treatment plan for those unwanted garden intruders. So first, you'll want to establish your personal philosophy for damage control. Some questions that you'll want to consider is how much damage is acceptable to you? What is reasonable considering your environment? Perhaps you live in a wooded lot and you have lots of woodland creatures snacking on your plants. And then what types of control methods are you willing to employ, whether they be organic or use of some chemical means? So critter control options for rabbits, that's what we're hearing most of right now, deer, squirrels, and raccoons are readily available, and they both come in granular and spray form, and they can repel both small and large animals. So products such as Plant Skid is granule, and you can just shake that at the base of your plant, and it deters small critters. Liquid Fence and as well as Repellex are very effective means as well. Hot pepper spray is great, and it is an effective method to keep those critters away from your beloved plants. I personally have rabbits right now chomping on my lettuces as well as hosta leaves. And what I've learned is that defense against rabbits as well as deer is really an ongoing battle. And so you might have a method such as Plant Skid that works for about 3 to 4 weeks, but then the animals get used to it and they'll kind of go past that barrier. So you'll need to be vigilant about trying new things and different methods. But these are all really great options that can deter, but you'll want to switch them up. Some techniques that you could try are natural plant deterrents. So for example, onions in the garden are a great deterrent for those bunnies. They don't like the smell of onions. Or you could also plant some white clover near your lawn, and that actually creates an edible buffet for the bunnies to snack on instead of hopefully eating your beautiful plants. Using barriers or fencing is a very effective but laborious way of managing of critters, or using raised garden beds, which are very popular right now, in taller pots. So we'll be talking about Japanese beetles next and insects. For this, it's the same thing as our critters, is that you can employ both chemical and natural means of fighting insects in the garden. I haven't seen them personally yet, but we have heard reports that Japanese beetles are out and about and starting their annual summer feeding frenzy. And anyone that's dealt with Japanese beetles know before they can do quite a bit of damage to our yards. So some things that you'll want to consider. Bonide sprays, such as Bonide 8, as well as a granule powder, is a great option for you. Otherwise, a non-chemical method is actually picking them off of your plants and drowning them in soapy water. Japanese beetles are actually very beautiful bugs. They're small, shiny, and emerald, but they do a lot of damage to roses, fruit trees, and bushes, and they can really sort of mow down any of your vegetation. So you'll want to be take action and take a look at your garden on an ongoing basis. And while no one is ever too pleased to see these in the garden, they're actually quite easy to remove. But you'll want to catch them early because they release pheromones that actually attract other Japanese beetles. So it's important to spray or dispose of those Japanese beetles as an adult before they lay their eggs and before they especially defoliate your plants. So for more information, we have a great care sheet on Bachmans.com. You can just search for Japanese beetles, and there is a wealth of information that actually takes you through the life cycle of Japanese beetles and grubs, identifies different damage that you can see in your yard, and then how to treat them. But right now, you'll probably be seeing them appear in your landscape over the next several weeks. Another insect that we're seeing right now are aphids. And aphids are very small little insects that actually feed on your leaves as well as stems. And there's a couple different ways that you can work with these as well. And bonide sprays and granular are wonderful methods, but also employing ladybugs. Ladybugs are beneficial insects. So a tip if you're going to release ladybugs, though, is to do it at dusk. If you do it during the day, you have perhaps a risk of birds finding those ladybugs and chomping on those. But ladybugs are a great way to deter those aphids as well. We did talk about this in another Facebook Live, but we've seen customers with a lot of slugs and snails with the rain that we've been getting, and they'll typically do damage to hosta leaves or broadleaf perennials and leave holes, unsightly holes in that. You can use something called Slug Magic or Sluggo, or you can use newspaper or cardboard and put that at the base of the plant. The next morning when it's damp, you'll be able to see those snails underneath and dispose of them properly. Something else that you might be seeing in the garden is there's fungus among us. Powdery mildew is the most common disease that we're seeing right now. And once you've identified it, you can stop it from spreading with a fungicide. And here we have a copper fungicide spray or even a sulfur, and you can use that to eliminate the existing problem. If you trim the shrub or plant, however, of the unsightly powdery mildew, do not compost. Do not put these in compost. You will want to destroy this part of the plant. Powdery mildew is a common fungal disease on many ornamental plants in Minnesota. Some common hosts to this are rose, phlox, currant, zinnia, begonia, and lilac. And in most cases, powdery mildew isn't going to harm the plant seriously, but it is rather unsightly. The symptoms that appear are on the surface of your leaf, and it's white to gray powder or dust that simply will not wash off. And the reason that this happens is it happens during high humidity, and so this is a very active time for that. And it also happens when the temperatures increase and you don't have enough air circulation in between your plants. To help control that, make sure that your plants have enough air circulation around it, and then water before noon, and avoid wetting the foliage. We'll talk about watering in just a little bit, but rather than watering from the top, water at the base of the plant for that really deep soak. Like I said, fungicides can help prevent the disease from spreading. However, it cannot repair the damage that's resulted. So be sure to read the label on this, dispose of those unsightly leaves or stems, and you'll be set for that proper application. And now that we're in summer, those beautiful warm temperatures are really requiring a lot more water in order to sustain the longevity of our plants and to help them thrive. Typically our plants, trees, and lawn needs about 1 to 2 inches of water per week. For hanging baskets and your annual containers, those will need to be watered daily. So please check that. They're growing and blooming so prolifically right now. So you'll want to make sure that you offer plenty of water as well as some nutrients to keep those blooms happening. So Mighty Bloom is a great option for your containers. We also have one specifically for vegetable beds as well. So offer your plants a very deep soak at the base of the plant, and water early in the morning so your plant has plenty of time to absorb all of that before the heat of the day happens. You might need to check them again at night, especially those hanging baskets, as they can dry out quite quickly. So that is our garden solutions for today. We hope that you've enjoyed. Feel free to ask questions. We have a wealth of information on our website under Care, Advice, and Information. If you need to identify a certain pest or disease perhaps on your plants, we can help you with that. On Friday, we'll actually be talking about 4th of July entertaining. So we hope that you're able to tune in for that. And we wish you all a beautiful day and happy gardening.